With all the major events in history, we need to go back in time and look at where it started, right? Well, we need to do exactly the same thing to understand the current condition of men's professional golf. How did the civil war between LIV and the PGA Tour begin? You'll actually be surprised. So don't go anywhere, because we're about to take a trip down memory lane. First up, where did it all begin? Well, many of the world's finest players weren't American in the early 1990s. They came from all over the world, including Australia, England, Spain, and South Africa. But here's the thing, the finest stage in golf, the PGA Tour, is based in the United States. At the time, the tour was being investigated by the Federal Trade Commission as some of its practices seemed pretty shady. Members were specifically asked to get authorization from the tour in order to compete in non-tour events staged at the same time as its own tournaments. Things started changing when, in 1994, the World Golf Tour, led by two-time major champion Greg Norman, the world's number 2 at the time, announced an 8-event schedule that would begin in 1995. Fox Sports secured a 10-year deal to broadcast the series and to give a large portion of the prize money. Each event was supposed to have a $3 million purse for a 40-player field. The next week, Arnold Palmer takes the microphone at a PGA Tour players gathering and cautions any potential defectors. PGA Tour Commissioner Tim Fincham then worked quickly to end the upstart tour, and without the support of other players, the WGT was doomed from the start. Next up, let's go back to 2018, when things started changing. The World Golf Series has finally been made public. The proposal was simple, a calendar of 15 to 20 annual events, each with a purse of $20 million. One key restriction was that such a circuit wouldn't yield official world golf ranking points, which are required for players to qualify for major events. And then, in 2020, the World Golf Series began to gather traction after years of courting players and their representatives. The prospect of large rewards surely piqued the interest of tour pros. While participating in the Saudi International, Phil Mickelson participated in a pro-am with various project investors, including PGL CEO Andy Gardner. Majed Al-Saror, CEO of the Gulf Saudi Federation, is now competing with Sergio Garcia and Yasser Al-Ramayan, manager of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Jay Monahan, who took over as PGA Tour Commissioner after Fincham retired in 2017, advises tour pros that they'll be unable to compete on both the PGA and PGL circuits. Now, where have we heard that before? Coming up, the new league started gaining major momentum. For the first time, Rory McIlroy expresses reservations about the new league and its financial backers. But despite McIlroy's public attitude, the PGL was gaining traction, at least in the PGA Tour locker rooms. But then, it was put to rest in March 2020, when a global pandemic shut down the PGA Tour and the rest of the sports world. Plans for a new worldwide golf circuit would have to be put on hold. What's more, in 2021, a groundbreaking story in the Telegraph broke that as many as 11 top tour golfers received offers ranging from $30 million to $50 million to join the PGL, called the Super Golf League. Names like Mickelson, DeChambeau, Johnson, Fowler, Rose, and Koepka shocked the world. Greg Norman once again returned, and the Shark announced that he's accepted the post of CEO for LIV Golf Investments, a company owned by the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. The fund pledges to subsidize 10 Asian Tour events. Norman's also going to become commissioner of LIV Golf's Saudi-backed Golf League, which was previously the Super Golf League. This freaks out the PGA Tour, and Jay Monahan delivers a statement to members outlining huge purse increases in an attempt to deter defectors and address player complaints about financial unfairness. Moving on, let's come back to 2022 now, where the real division happened. Phil Mickelson tells Golf Digest that he has serious concerns about the distribution of money on the PGA Tour when participating in the 2022 Saudi International. He drastically exaggerates the worth of the tour's media assets in the process, but that's the least of his worries. His controversial comments were published in Alan Shipnuck's biography, where in an interview, Mickelson referred to the Saudi regime as scary motherfuckers. He also went on to say that signing with LIV would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. Pretty understandably, his comments drew widespread criticism, not only from the media and fans, but also from PGA Tour players. That same week, at the Genesis Invitational, practically every big-name player, Thomas, McIlroy, Jon Rahm, Colin Morikawa, and others, declares their devotion to the PGA Tour and rejects LIV. And then comes the big blow. Jay Monahan delivers a severe warning at a mandatory player meeting at the Honda Classic. He implies that defectors may be expelled from the tour for life, and Greg Norman answers with a letter in which he accuses Monahan of going too far and that he cannot prohibit players from playing golf. Coming up, the LIV Golf Series finally begins. According to Norman, 19 of the world's top 100 players have signed up to compete in LIV Golf's first event. It takes place at Centurion in June. And to no one's surprise, the PGA Tour suspends all players competing at the Hertfordshire Club minutes after the opening tee strokes. Carl Schwartzel takes home $4.75 million as the winner. LIV quickly announces the signings of major winners Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, and Brooks Koepka. As a way to beat the Saudi-backed league at its own game, Monahan states that he'll incentivize the PGA Tour by increasing the purse at 8 of its major events. In an attempt to counteract the threat of LIV, the DP World Tour CEO Keith Pelley also punishes members who played in the inaugural tournament. He also bans them from 3 events, including the Scottish Open, before the two circuits establish a new groundbreaking cooperation to combat the Rebel League. Brandon Grace won the second LIV Golf Invitational in Portland in July, before 3 LIV golfers, including Poulter, had their Scottish Open bans lifted. These players are permitted to continue playing on the circuit until the legal dispute is resolved in February 2023. Next, the division became worse and worse every week. The Open became the first battleground of golf's civil war. Tiger Woods weighs in at St. Andrews after Norman's orders to stay away from the former champion's supper. Cameron Smith, who won the 150th Open, has sparked rumors that he may be the next to defect. Then, in an unexpected twist, Ryder Cup captain Henrik Stenson is unveiled as LIV's latest acquisition, and afterwards, the Swede is fired as Team Europe's captain. Stenson wins in his LIV golf debut at Bedminster, before the league announces plans for a revamped schedule, including a 14-event season in 2023. Like we said, things just kept escalating. In August, 11 LIV golfers launched an antitrust complaint against the PGA Tour. 3 players are also seeking a restraining order in order to compete in the FedEx Cup playoffs. The judge rules against Talor Gooch, Hudson Swafford, and Matt Jones in a weird legal dispute, and the golf community has never been more divided. The civil war gets worse as Woods and McIlroy convene a PGA Tour players meeting to plan their strategy against LIV. And get this, Reed also launches a $1 billion slander lawsuit against Golf Channel commentator Brandel Chambly. Once again, to stand his ground, Monahan proposes 5 lucrative PGA Tour changes to deter additional players from joining LIV, while Woods and McIlroy confirm a stadium-style series will launch in 2024. Finally, after weeks of rumors, Norman finally gets Cameron Smith. This one really hurt the PGA Tour, that's for sure. Dustin Johnson wins his first LIV Golf Championship in Boston in September. All this leads to the mess at Wentworth, where many Rebel players teed up at the BMW PGA Championship. Safe to say, both sides weren't happy. Then comes the global rankings disaster. In the absence of any points, every LIV player submits an urgent letter begging the OWGR to grant them accreditation. Who didn't see this coming? A dramatic September ends with Mickelson and several other players withdrawing from the PGA Tour lawsuit, leaving only 3 players. The PGA Tour countersued LIV for contract interference just 2 days later, and the drama isn't even close to over. In a bold move, LIV joins forces with the MENA Tour in October to win global ranking points. But that didn't go anywhere, as the OWGR ruined that whole plan just a day later. Ouch. Former college star Eugenio Shakara won LIV Golf Bangkok, followed by Koepka's victory at LIV Golf Jeddah in the 6th and 7th tournaments. A New Yorker story reveals so many LIV bombshells we got whiplash. This included how the league's Saudi sponsors are scheming to stage their own majors. But that's a whole other story. And now, the month of October has ended with 4 aces GC winning the team championship in Miami. John Bronson, Reed, Gooch, and Pat Perez each received $4 million for their roles in the season finale. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think is next for the exciting yet controversial league? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.